Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I'm Anna and I'll help you grow beautiful and healthy plants. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 varieties of ficuses and also 5 secrets so that you know how to take care of them so that they grow healthy, grow into bigger trees, and also you can stay till the end of the video because at the end I'm going to talk to you about a variety of ficus that you can even grow in a terrarium. So stay tuned and let's start. First is my Ficus Lyrata or fiddle leaf fig tree. And these trees are so beautiful because they have these very hard, very beautiful, and I would say also very thick leaves. These ones are growing as trees, and you can also see that this is one tree growing in one plant. I have repotted this one, and you can also watch the other videos that I will post after a couple of weeks so that you can also see that one, because I also repotted, actually planted 3 of my fiddle leaf fig trees, smaller ones, into one pot so that I have a bushier pot, a fuller pot. So I have 2 pots now. So this one is growing as a standalone one tree, and hopefully this will grow into a beautiful, very tall tree. And I'm also growing these 3 together so that we will see how they will grow, all 3 of them in one pot. Well, the secret number 1 is the red dots on the leaves of fiddle leaf fig trees, Ficus Lyrata. Mostly you will notice these red dots on younger leaves. It's called edema, and it is basically cells bursting a little bit. That's why you have this kind of stains or spots on the leaves. But don't worry, this is a natural process. It's just a kind of a hint for you that you are a little bit watering a little bit too much. So this can of course cause root rot. So to prevent this, start watering maybe a little bit less. But at this point you don't need to do anything if you see these red spots on the leaves, because it will heal itself. The more the leaf grows and matures, it will turn into this very thick and very green, dark green, hard leaves, and it will heal itself. So it will be gone and you will not need to worry about it at all. But this is now secret number 1, because people start spraying with chemicals their plants as soon as they see a little bit of dots here and there. But in this case you don't need to worry about it, just let it grow. And now let's move to another room where I will show you actually the 3 ficuses growing together, and also I'm going to show you my Ficus Benjamina Variegata, which is growing into a 2-meter tall tree. Let's go there. And let me show you these 3 plants that I told you about. Oh, they are pretty heavy, but look at this. I have all of them here, these 3, and look how beautifully they are growing leaves. All these very light green leaves are new, and you can see some red dots that I mentioned before. But again, you don't need to worry about. So let's move to secret number 2. And secret number 2 is watering. Well, you need to know how properly to water it, because if you overwater, of course, this can cause root rot, but also underwatering is an issue, because if you underwater your plants, basically if you water very little or if you water with a delay, this can cause some leaves to fall off. Especially you can notice with Ficus Benjamina, where is it here? And also Ficus Lyrata. So make sure that you water it enough so that the soil is basically really well drained and you water it enough. But if you notice that the bottom leaves, 3-4 of them drop together, this may be a sign that you water it less than it needs. And here I have my 2-meter tall Ficus Benjamina, which is an amazing tree. I actually got this one for 50 euros from someone on Facebook. And basically they didn't want this ficus anymore. This size of a ficus is so expensive. I think you can even buy them for 150, 200 euros in local stores. But this one I got for 50 euros and I'm very happy about it. Even our elevator was not working at that time, so my boyfriend carried it on the 6th floor in his hands, and it's pretty heavy. It's growing in ceramics, and I must say that I'm very careful with watering here, because I still try to figure out how much water it needs, and I don't really feel if the ceramics is moist enough or it's already dry, because the top layer is dry, I would say immediately after watering. Maybe after a day it's completely dry, but I know that at the bottom it can still be moist and I don't want to overwater it, and I don't use a watering meter, so maybe that's something I should do. If you have any experience using water meters, please write about your experience in the comments, and I would really love to learn about your experience. Maybe I should use one. Alright, and as for this one, also I want to talk about secret number 3, because I think that refers to especially Ficus Benjamina. Doesn't matter if it's with the one with the green leaves or it's this variegated ones, because I have the feeling that the moment you move this to a cooler place, it drops all the leaves. And I've noticed my neighbors, 2 of them actually, in the spring, whenever the temperatures went higher a little bit and we had several sunny days, they moved their ficuses on the balconies under the direct sunlight. When these plants, the whole winter, they were indoors, far away from the windows, or maybe even closer to the windows, but they didn't have enough light, and they moved them immediately under the sun. This is, well, number 1 problem, of course, for your ficuses. So these plants like to have a stable temperature, stable, warm environment, and if you open the window and if this cold stream of air is coming towards your plant, even for 5 minutes, this can cause an issue, and you will notice that overnight many leaves will drop immediately. And I don't even say that if you move them to the balcony and there is this fluctuation of temperature between day temperature and night temperature, maybe all of the leaves will be dropped, and this can significantly damage your Ficus Benjamina. So it's also another secret: keep your ficuses in a very stable, warm environment. And now let's move to a smaller variety, which is Ficus Ginseng. Let me bring it. It's right here on the windowsill, and here it is. You can see that it's tiny, but it has this very nice form, shape of the roots or stems, because it's basically continuation of the root, I would say, one part of it. But these plants are very beautiful just because of the stems. Let me just take it out and show you. So here it is, and you can see that it has 1, 2, 3, 5 stems, and it's growing these tiny leaves. Now the leaves can be a little bit bigger, and now they are smaller because I just pruned it, and this is something that you should definitely do, especially with these ones, because the more you prune it, the more it will be growing bushier, basically. But I must say that I pruned this one specifically because I had spider mites. And the only way to get rid of the majority of spider mites is basically to prune it, to remove the leaves, but still it will grow. And then of course I sprayed it with neem oil, with soap, and now it's growing perfectly healthy with all new leaves. And it is even bushier, because you can see from all of the sides, it's not just one stem growing, but it has actually couple of them. From one stem, it's now growing into different directions, and it has 2, 3 stems growing from one stem, basically. So you can also grow these ones in very tiny pots, but also make sure that you water it enough, then let the soil get dry completely. And this is the next secret: use well-drained soil and let the soil get dry completely before watering. And now let me show you my next ficus, which is standing right next to me. So here it is, and this one I would say the easiest to care for, because I just water it. It's standing right by the window, and it has very bright indirect sunlight, and it's also very warm here. But even when I open the window, the air is not really blowing on it, so it's in a very nice and bright light, and watering from time to time is already enough. So I let the soil dry and then water it, and you see all this new growth here, and especially on this branch, it's all new, and this one is new, and this one is new. And the history of this plant is also very funny, because I was going to swap this plant in one of the groups on Facebook, and the woman that wanted to get rid of this plant said, you know what, I don't need to swap with any other plant, just please come and pick it up, because I don't really want this plant. It reminds me of my ex-boyfriend, and I don't want to think about him, so I'm trying to get rid of his plant. That's how I got this one for free. And now let's move to the living room, where I have my Ficus Tineke variegated one, and the story of that one is just amazing, so let's move there. So, and here is my other ficus, and why I said that the story is very interesting, because now you can see some brown spots on the sides only on this leaf and this one tiny leaf here. But when I got it, it had all leaves damaged. Basically, I think it was either overwatered or it was in a very cold place. So this is, of course, we already talked about that they like very warm temperatures, but basically, again, the owner of this plant said, you know, I cannot take care of it, I don't know what's wrong with it, so please come and take it. So I would say that most of my ficuses are either for free or very cheap, but they are very big plants. And this one, of course, is growing already now for several months, almost a year with me. I got it maybe last autumn. And all these new leaves that you see here are new. This branch and everything here, and all these tiny leaves are absolutely new because, again, as I said, if I find actually a picture with the damaged leaves, I think I have one, I will put on the screen for you to see how it looked before and after, basically now. But now it grew into this amazing plant, and you can see it's not one branch, it's just so growing. Like, let's count actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So it has 16 branches growing from one main stem, and I love it. I really love it. And the secret with this variety is that people are trying to propagate it with leaf. But you cannot really propagate this variety of ficus with leaf, because the leaf, if you put it in the water, it will grow you roots, like meter-long roots, but it will never produce a new plant. So after a couple of months waiting, hoping that it will grow a new plant, you will be disappointed because eventually the leaf will get rotten or will get dry. And if you want to propagate it, you need to take also a piece of the stem. So you need to have a node, an active node from which a new growth can happen. So at least one part of the stem with one leaf. Better, of course, to have two leaves so that you have a longer stem, a stronger stem, and only then you can propagate it. And for propagation, I think it's better also to use some rooting hormones. I've never tried it, but I know that they are very helpful because these varieties are not really propagating easily, like Tradescantia or spider plant or even philodendrons. They are a little bit tricky, so to make sure that you have a higher success rate with propagating of these varieties, please use maybe rooting hormones. So this much for today. Please write all your comments and questions in the comments under the video. I will be very happy to get to know you, to talk to you about plants. If I can help you with some advice, of course I'm gonna do it, and I would also like to learn from you. So let's build this community together. Stay passionate about plants, and I will see you in the next one.